how we have defined as kitamio, that our voices are amplified by the earth. The earth, our mother, provides everything we need to survive. We need her, our planet, and it's our collective responsibility as treaty people, as people who were birthed from the soil, to protect our mother. Tonight, we are not protesters. We are land defenders. We are water protectors. We are a single breath, united, pause before a scream, demanding for justice. We are the warriors, and our war cry is for Indigenous sovereignty. We are gathered tonight, Kakina, in Amisquachi, Waskaiden. This aquí, part of Treaty 6, is the ancestral land of the Papas Chase Cree Nation and home to the Nakota Sioux, Saulteaux, Blackfoot, Dene, and Métis people. As a mixed French and Scottish settler and Anishinaabe Innu Indigenous person, as well as a Two-Spirited person, it is my duty to be a bridge between these nations, to break down colonial barriers and empower Indigenous people. As a guest to this territory, it is my responsibility to offer protocol and ask consent before imposing my nations and my personal ways of doing things. I pledge to take care of this land, uplift its people, and should I leave, to leave this place better than when I arrived for future generations. In the ways of my people, I offer my highest gratitude for welcoming me here and letting me call Amisquachi Waskaiden my home. Chimiigwech, hi hi. I also, yeah, that's how you do a land acknowledgement. I also want to sincerely thank the people who supported me to make this event happen in the first place. The Edmonton Two-Spirit Society, the Edmonton Indigenous Poets Society, Nisha Patel, our esteemed Edmonton Poet Laureate, Hip Hop in the Park, and the Nook Cafe. Give them a round of applause. So I'm going to give some of these folks some time later just to talk a little bit about what they do, how you can get more involved. This is a community thing. We're all doing this in relation. So it's important for me that y'all know who these folks are and what they do. And so we have an incredible lineup of poets tonight, just amazing Indigenous, Okima Kwe, Okima, chiefs, warriors, queens, kings that we have here tonight. I'm so honored to be surrounded by all these amazing Nichis. So we are live streaming. I forgot to tell all the poets, but when you signed that thing, you were also saying you were consenting to the live stream. So if you're not, just tell me before you come up. Sorry, side fact. So everybody say Kwe online Nichis. Nobody said that. Yes, so hello to all our online friends. So obviously nobody ever wants to go first, so I'm gonna offer up myself as the first poet of the night. So originally I wanted to write a new piece. I was like, yeah, I'm super motivated. I want to write a piece about Trudeau and reconciliation being dead and all these really sad things that are happening right now. And then I realized that this piece that I wrote it during I Don't Know More about 5 or 6 years ago, and it was still perfectly relevant. So that really pissed me off. I was like, I'm 28 years old and I'm really young, but in my short life, things haven't really changed much, and it's just basically been a state of conflict. So in my personal activist life, I've been there on Parliament Hill for Elsie Booktook, Standing Rock with Sutan, I Don't Know More, and so many other causes, and so many other injustices. So my ancestors have been fighting and resisting and erecting blockades long before I was born. This isn't new, we've been doing this forever. So in honor of them, I'm gonna continue to resist, and this poem is for them. My brother, when I look at you, I see but a breathing corpse, whose entire life consists of the next high from chemicals whose purpose consists of breaking you, destroying your body cell by cell until there's no more health. You will die without the drugs. Your body cannot exist without a fucking toke, and you're broke, and the things you do to survive wound me. For colonization fucked us, literally turned us inside out till our red skin is flayed on the ground trampled. Until it becomes one with the earth, it has been beaten and extracted and displaced and removed until it's unrecognizable, and we are the red people. bleached until we reach white bones so we resemble the oppressors that laugh as my brother lies addicted to every substance that can ruin him. For their God-blessed mission to save the savages from their naked, reckless ways, the hands that bless the sick in hospices on Europe went on boats to lay their hands on the red children in the residential schools to beat them, to molest them. But their mission was still ordained by God, for the red needs to be eradicated, and now, after apologies and restitution and billions of dollars, it is easier to find cocaine on my reserve than clean drinking water. It is easier for my brother to ponder taking his own life than finish high school. This white world has faked its acceptance and instead created no space for my red blood to love. Instead, it boils and bleeds to the ground, trying to cover my bones, to remember my red ancestors and not be ashamed of them. My contribution to society isn't validated by my drum, by my heart songs, the heartbeat of my people. The Creator's prayers as I dance with healing jingles on cannot compare to the man I work 9 to 5 for. I ache for the ocean, the ground beneath bare feet, the eagles soaring above me, deer hide between my fingertips. Instead, I have to lie and speak the oppressor's language in order to become a weapon. I wear a mask that traps my two-spirit soul, hiding behind my white privilege so I don't have to worry about being the next missing and murdered transgender Indigenous statistic. The only solution is revolution. And when I speak these words out loud, it's treason, and yet the red are flooded into the prison system, so what's one more? We believe in peace like it's solving something, while more time keeps ticking without solutions, while thousands of red women go missing, while my brother keeps attempting suicide, while my people keep bleeding, so their blood leaves them and they're left with white bones. There are countless screaming spirits all around us demanding justice. Together, our anger will be the new contagion that will light this country ablaze, unearthing all of our flayed skin, casting light on the shameful history this country dug deep into the earth, and then maybe we will be free. Winnipeg Wallace and I, we have a little bit of a treat for y'all. Funny story, we're at, the slam poetry finals. We made it to the finals, and I had this piece, and I was like, I don't like it, I don't like this piece. And so I looked at Brandon literally 2 hours before we were about to go on stage, and I was like, you wanna do a team piece? And he's like, yeah, let's do a team piece. So literally 2 hours before we were supposed to get up on stage, we created this together. We're pretty proud of it. And this is the first time we're doing, we did it once at finals and that was it. So y'all are in for this treat because it hasn't been done yet.
It also got us second place.
Yeah, it got us,
We were in third place.
Yes, highest scored finals poem of all time. We made history. What? All right. The absurdity of Christianity. Being told that somewhere up there is a big white God
who looks over all of us. I mean, he sent his only son to die for our sins.
Because a daughter's life wouldn't have been worth as much. Look at all the poverty and explain to me why billions are spent on the Notre Dame.
Because white people painted on stained glass windows are worth more than our people painted in blood.
Christian values make a nation stronger. And for us, the descendants of the assimilated people, those that had religion shoved down their throats, that had our teeth ripped out for saying his name wrong or not at all, those of us whose blood covered the earth of 2 separate continents, united by slavery, so that this God could have his cotton, his silver, his gold, his furs. We,
the descendants of those who forsake their connection to the DNA embedded in this earth, who walked inside of a building to find God, and accepted him into their hearts to feed their starving families.
We, the descendants of the natives when the conquistadors read convert or die in a language you had never heard before.
You'll tell me there's beauty in faith, there's community in a church, and I don't want to take that away from you, but tell me, what do you say to the child Jesus set free when their parents are free-basing religion the way my sister does narcotics? Kids on reserves are starving, but the pastor needs a new car, so up your tithing. Do you know what it feels like
To read the entire Bible just to realize you'll never meet the criteria for heaven, so you'll walk into oncoming traffic, because what's the point? Let me tell you about a child who finally comes out to their family only to be sent to conversion camp
where bad touch is coded as the healing process.
Gay is only okay if the priest is the one doing it. Don't tell me there isn't absurdity in Christianity when Columbus stood on these shores and declared himself the new God incumbent these natives as docile slaves.
Don't believe me? The white side of me is proof.
When you have nightmares from your ancestors that grieve the loss of their language, the loss of ceremony and culture, their prayer for them to return, and you have to watch
as your parents pray to the same fucking God that ordered their genocide.
Your apologies can rot.
Explain to me why this God is so much better than Mother Earth, whose soil birthed me.
Explain to me why this God has subjugated us so that the 1% can prosper by stepping on our graves.
Explain to me why those of us forced through genocide are the ones most passionately defending him.
Explain to me how you can't see that your ticket to heaven is purchased
from the blood of those who prayed on this land millennia before your Jesus Christ was even a thought.
Fun fact, we talk with our hands a lot, so I'm just whacking this thing. All right, so next up we have Chelsea Curry. So Chelsea is a Plains Cree two-spirit queer person going by they, them, and she, her pronouns interchangeably. Her spirit name is Waspisu, meaning swan woman. She is currently going to school at Yellowhead Tribal College in Edmonton for Indigenous social work. She's also on the board of Edmonton Two-Spirit and the youth representative for the Two Spirits in Motion board. She moves forward with the intention to create awareness, remain grounded in culture, and be a change maker in the different communities she is a part of. Please welcome to the stage, Chelsea!
Hi everyone. I'm going to be sharing a few poems. The first one here is called Seeds of Growth. Vibrant, lush, green, the tree is rooted to the land and grounded at its core. I sit in curiosity asking, what can I learn? With subtle movements, this living being offers a lesson with depth and meaning. It's a process of becoming, to begin as a seed, sprouting from the earth, building layers to withstand the elements. I want to embody that, strength and resilience, to be a gentle spirit with clarity and understanding. Ocean healing. My toes reaching the ocean floor, waves take their place, a silk blanket, a dreamy surface. I find healing through movement. I awaken and I sense it in my being. And now I see it as the essence of who I am. As I return to the ocean, I return to myself. Narrative shift. Looking into the mirror with somber eyes and my spirit gone, I said, how do I relate to the world around me? Self-identification is about how you relate to yourself. And that expression should be nurtured, not silenced or swayed by colonial belief systems. It's complex to explain, but the answer will come to you. Be grounded in culture, listen to your elders, build your natural helping system, honor your calling. and the rest will follow. At home in my two-spirit body, letting go of the way that I try to fit into spaces and be someone who I'm not. Allowing myself to breathe a full breath, making eye contact, owning my posture. I can take up space, even when I feel like systems aren't built for me, a feminine, non-binary person with an intersecting identity. Maybe you don't understand, but just respect it. I feel distant, but I ground myself. I'm not alone. This is ancestral strength and resilience. I learned to protect my spirit and livelihood. I'm more than you'd like to offer, but I'm at home in my two-spirit body. Home in stolen land. Where I stand is sacred. I was taught to walk the earth softly. My feet kiss the earth. That's our way of life. Meanwhile, settler Canadians have no concept of these teachings, extracting, exploiting Mother Earth. In the treaties, our ancestors stated that there could be no more than a grain's plow. The end expression of the colonial project is climate collapse. They see it as resources. We see it as elements to coexist with. The treaty is the highest law, but Indian resistance is stronger than settler colonial control. Thank you.
She made wedge. That's beautiful. Thank you. Wow. Oh. Sorry, I'm like decolonizing this space. We have a smudge going if anybody feels like they might need that. It's for everyone. You'll see behind me there's an eagle staff. For those of you that don't know what those are, I was asked to carry this eagle staff on behalf of the Two-Spirit community. This was asked by Leonard Saddleback, an elder from Musqueam's Cree Nation, really close here to Edmonton. My understanding, my teachings behind eagle staffs and eagle feathers is they represent a nation. Like, they're not just objects. Like, they speak to who we are as people. And so for this one, I added the ribbons, the black and brown ribbons before the rainbow, because I want to acknowledge that, you know, as an LGBTQ community, as a Two-Spirit community, there are black and brown and red people that have been doing this work since time immemorial. And it's really important that those people be recognized. And so this staff represents us as a community, and it's here to give us strength, and it's here to represent our ancestors and who we are as Two-Spirit people. So it's very important that this be happening in these kinds of spaces. It's also the first time I've ever hosted a poetry event where it's 100% Indigenous poets, and that's really a remarkable and beautiful thing. So I'm really grateful for that. So, I like switch. I have like my really serious voice. I'm like, y'all are gonna listen to me. And then I'm like, all right, here's my UFC voice. Like, yeah. So our next poet, also super excited to hear this person. So next up we have Dan. So Daniel Patra is a Cree poet from Paul's First Nation, currently residing in Edmonton. He writes about the challenges that Indigenous and Métis people face today. Give it up for Dan!
I speak softly because my raised voice sounds like 1,000 drunk Indians circling the wagon. I work diligently because my failures will paint all of us as lazy and unreliable. I am a Native man, and I do everything I can not to remind you of it. Every night, it's the same nightmare. In it, I chase down buses, taxis, time clocks, police cars, to lock myself up in factories, warehouses, and vacant cells. Because I wake up to this borrowed blood that's too old, pounding and pounding through my veins. And it's not mine. I got it from my dad, and he got it from his dad, and his dad, and his dad, and his, and we just keep carrying it until we get to pour it back into the earth and grow the wildest flowers you ever did see. And soon I slip back under the weight of my blankets, and they train me doggedly, bribe and promise and nightsticks and justification, and I perform for applause, for treats, for validation, to be here, and of course I'll pay to exist, to take up this space. Here, whatever you want to have. Up in the start, to find dying trees, so I can uproot them and stand in their place. Have the wind smooth back my hair and whisper it loves me. And soon I slip back under the weight of my debt. And I turn to look over the bones of my brothers and sisters that came before me, picked clean and left hollow by the thieves. They offered dreams of an entire living room set, nothing down, giving us Indians something that they couldn't, then taking it back. And now the collectors come, demanding money, demanding answers. And I try to answer, demanding money and demanding answers, demanding money answers, damning up the creek. I gave beaver its tail, made out of mud and sticks, sculpted mountain after mountain, imagined the moon and then sung in the tides, placed the sun in the sky so I could watch them take away my banks, examine faces reaching into sympathetic smiles while they hand over my hours of money to homeless loan sharks. So I dug a hole and wept an ocean. I saw him, the last warrior, wobbling and ducking and weaving out of traffic, screaming, hollering, "This is my land, get your fucking city out of here." He's drunk on native pride and bulletproof because they keep shooting him dirty looks, but he won't go down. And he won't stop fighting. And quickly they attempt to change their tactics, offering him food and blankets and salvation and treaties, but only war. There is no signing. Standing tall, standing against lies and prosecution, racism, standing against a system that invented the rules and then changed them when their win wasn't thorough enough. And I wanted to stand next to him, to stop progress from slewing more lakes, tear down the prisons so my lines don't have to be jammed into cells, pull apart the remand brick by brick and build it up as a monument to my brethren. Kind of like totems and sundances or log houses or teepees or anything, instead of haunting buildings, housing lost souls and broken spirits. I wish I could have met the Mounties they sent, their red jackets lined up, brown slick boots and a fine tan hat with a brim so wide, a government could build a better tomorrow on top of it. And I would have welcomed it. Bring them more and more, send them more, truck them in on the Grand Trunk Railway, line them up so they stretch from sea to sea, and we'll fight them in the dirt, in the mud, in the streets, in the alleys, on the doorsteps of stores, in the dumpsters, in the missile center, in the playground, at Bed Pack Road. We'll fight them with righteousness and conviction and truth and justice, with feathers in our hair and fire in our hearts. While they hold up in Fort Edmonton, waiting for the cavalry, have them come in crowds, droves, masses, mobs, scores, countries, nations. We'll fight them with missing teeth and broken bones, shattered knuckles and bloody lips, and black eyes and nasty foam-back techniques and scars that run way too deep and won't heal. We'll fight them until they bury all of us behind those schools. We'll fight them until we're statistics and whispers, finally ghost stories and rumors, and still we'll ride the plains with the buffalo to fight them. We'll fight them when we're your words in your children's mouths. We'll fight them even when we're heat of the forest fires and the sparks of the ashes, and we'll fight them until we burn away the day and burn out the night, just to let them know we're still here.
Hey.
But I didn't meet them, not in the streets or the battlefields. Instead, I watched them take down the last warrior, quell the small uprising, there in the shadow of the old McDonald Hotel. Ishnis, hi.
Wow. I love you all. I met Dan, we were like bonding over Marvel. Like, wow, okay. Yeah, fun fact, that half of the people that are doing poetry tonight that are speaking their truth, I actually haven't even heard them. So that's why you see me like over there tripping, like, oh my God. Yeah, so anyways. Someone should hire us. Maybe we should do like a native poetry festival or something. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Alrighty. So we have another poet coming up for y'all. This poet is someone that I really look up to. They're someone that is doing a lot for Indigenous people for poetry here in Edmonton. So I'm really excited for our next poet who will introduce herself. Please call up Kelly.
Wow, thanks, Gabe. I really look up to you too. Like, that just was unexpected. It touched my heart just now. First, I want to introduce myself. I'm a da as ax nis nisam. I'm a wild giested. Stim neat niska. Baknya lach whatsapp. E kiliats kumnisams. Good evening, everyone. My name is Callie. I come from the Nisga'a Nation and from the village of Lach Gotsap, colonially known as Greenville, BC. So before I go into my poetry, I just wanted to share a little bit of an experience that I had last week. So, you know, as we know, we're here, gathered here this evening. Due to the struggles of the Wet'suwet'en people, we've all, for one reason or another, have connected with it. And, you know, I'm so touched, I'm so happy that you're all here. So, you know, this is my story. I've always wanted to visit the Unistoten camp, you know, and it was mostly because, you know, and this was before, you know, all of this that has been going on, because you know what, they've been there, that camp has been there for 10 years, and they've always inspired me, and, you know, they just so happen to be one of the groups, one of the camps, one of the movements that's a bit closer to home. So I had always looked up to them and thought, man, you know, I really want to go there one day. And you know, I even, you know, I got to go there this past week, or about a week ago, and I had told this story to a longtime activist, someone who I really looked up to, someone who had been involved for years in the movement. You know, he was kind of an older person, part of Oka, Gustafson Lake, and you know, I really admired him, and I got to know him a little bit at environmental justice camp, and I was just like, you know, I told him, I was like, hey, I admire your work, like your commitment to the movement. Here's some fish. I was just carrying around a lot of fish at the time, and I said, you know, I really want to go to Unistoten. Like, you know, that's where I want to be. It's closest to my home, and they're doing what I want to be doing. And you know, he said, yeah, I've been there, and you should. He said, you should go. And about a couple months after that, he passed away. And you know, I always feel when you look up to someone, when you admire them, and you say, you know, I'm gonna do this. I really want to do this thing, and you know, they move on to the next world. They become a spirit that, you know, that's it. Like, you're committed to your word. And so, you know, about a week ago, I finally got to go. Because yeah, this was like over a year ago that I was talking to him, and yeah, I finally got to go, and it was so beautiful. Like, the sun was golden, like the snow, the air was so fresh and crisp, the people were warm, you know, even though, you know, less than a month before, a couple weeks before, they had been raided and attacked. And you know, yeah, I thought to myself, wow, I'm here. And on the one side, you know, I technically fulfilled my commitment, but on the other, you know, I mostly felt like this is just the beginning. Like, it was just the first of many visits, and that each time I go back, you know, I need to bring something, a contribution. And yeah, because it's really not enough to say that you've been there. And this is exactly, for me, sometimes what I think it's like being part of the movement. It's really easy when invasions are happening, when violence is happening, blockades are happening, it's really visible in the news, to get up and just be a part of it, to make that donation, to go to that protest, to click like on that post, it's easy during those times. But it's not enough. It's not enough to say, yeah, I've been to that protest, yeah, I went to that blockade, I made that donation, because your relationship to the movement requires commitment and consistency. If I were to never go back to Unistoten, then I wouldn't be able to say that I had a real relationship to it. And it's the same to the movement. So you think about the Wet'suwet'en people, they have had their camp there for 10 years, and they've been defending their land since time immemorial. And that this is exactly just what I've been thinking, and I really, really hope, and I pray that, all of us here, that this is just the beginning to our commitment to the struggle. So thank you to Yaksiknism, thank you for being here tonight. Now, okay, so how am I for time?
You go.
Okay. I wasn't sure if I should go into my poem, if I should talk a little bit more. Just little things on the ground that I learned, and just from people in the surrounding communities. Just the small things, because like I said, I just visited there once, but I really got to see just some of the levels of blatant colonialism and the ridiculousness that people have had to put up with. For example, when the RCMP set up their injunction zone, at first they were keeping supplies from going out to the lands, like food, medical, and eventually they were like, oh, this looks really bad, so you can let some people can go, but they were very specific in their requirements and in their rules of what or who was allowed to go there, and it was okay, you need to have a truck, you need to have chains on your snow tires, you need to have a radio. And you know what? When we were there, we didn't have a radio or chains on our tires. So, and they had been saying this as complete rhetoric, as oh, it's about safety. We're just trying to keep you safe. But we were driving around there, and the RCMP were still there. They were following us, in their little cars, and just driving by. So it was really clear that it was all a complete sham. And I mean, on top of that, they made these stipulations. Yeah, you can go up there, but you have to have chains. And it was found out by the local people that the RCMP went to the local Canadian Tire and bought all of the tire chains, 200 pairs of tire chains, just so that they could make it more difficult for people to go up there. So, when politicians and RCMP say that it's about safety or it's about jobs, it's just complete bullshit. And I got to talk with some people from my nation and with my house chief, because I've been trying to understand where my people stand and where my people are coming from. And he was talking about all this stuff that the companies tell them, it's about jobs, opportunity, we're gonna educate your people, we're gonna give them a future. And I was talking to some more people, and it's not even real opportunities. Basically, these companies come in, they will maybe train people for 6 weeks, say, I don't know, for example, someone wants to do some welding or pipe fitting, they'll get 6 weeks of training, and that's not even enough to have an official ticket. So, maybe they'll have a job while the company is there building their infrastructure, but as soon as that's done, they move on. And like, where are these people left afterward? You know, with very, very little. Like, and then their response to that is usually, oh yeah, well, you know, that just opens the door for them. They'll be able to like go and get their education, and you know, it's still a significant stepping stone. But it's like, you know, like these projects are moving and moving across the land, and of course, like the people who are already trained are going there as well. And so who is going to be hired? Like the people who already have the tickets and who already have years of experience, or you know, people who are just starting out. So it's not real. And yeah, so that's part of what I learned, and I just wanted to share that with you, because yeah, that used to be like a big question and point of contention on my heart sometimes too, because you know, I've seen the poverty, and I've seen, you know, the struggle, and you know what it's like. And it's like, you know, I guess people do need money, you know, they need to feed themselves, but you know, it's pretty meaningless what they're offering. Yeah, thanks. I think that's it in terms of what I can think of right now from my experience that I wanted to share. I'll just go to my poem. So my poem, it's a bit of a love poem. No, it is a love poem. And at first I thought I wanted to present something new tonight that was directly related to the struggle. But, you know, love is a form of resistance, and so that's what this poem is about. You know, we all know about the tension, we all know about like the pain and like the injustice that's going on, so like let's talk about what helps us thrive. And so I wanted to share this with you. I am a two-spirit woman, and you remind me of the strength of matriarchs. You make my knees go weak, and I'm not really sure if I've forgotten how to speak or if maybe you've just decolonized my tongue. You make me feel like I want us to discover the ancient DNA in our blood together. Like, I don't just want to meet your family, I want to meet your ancestors. I want to learn all the words that you know for the land and the landscape of your body. I want you to teach me the songs of survival you carry inside yourself, not just the words of oral history or the melody of your strength. I want to memorize the war song in your heartbeat so I can fight beside you in any battle. I want to read all the books that bring revolution to your home fire, so my lips will always be a library reminding you of liberation. And I think that maybe I have a crush on you. And I'm not really sure if you feel it too. All I know is that Indigenous love is resistance. Maybe even if it goes unrequited, because it leaves me inspired. See, who you are has called to my two spirits. Every feeling is a tremendous gift, and I will be here for you in any capacity, for you remind me the beauty of my soul is split.
The standard for pickup lines has now been raised so high. Yeah. Did you hear that, babe? No, it's all good. But yeah, oh my God, I want a t-shirt that says that. You decolonize my tongue. Words, man, words. Whoa. What are those? All right. So, has everyone seen the video that's going viral right now about Christy Belcourt talking to the police officers at Tyendinaga? If you haven't, it's like all over Facebook and YouTube. Please check it out. But there's a part where she's speaking to them and she says, you know, the people, the Wet'suwet'en people, they drink their water from the rivers. Like, they can just go and grab a cup of water from a river or a stream and they can just drink it. And I'm from Ottawa, born and raised, and I have family on reserve, and the first question I ask when I walk into any one of my family's homes is, can I drink your water? And I lived in the Arctic, and boiling water advisories and not being able to drink your tap water that a colonial settler infrastructure put in is like normal for me. Even in cities, like I'm still like, can we drink it? Like, is it safe? And these people can drink the water from the rivers. And once upon a time, we were all able to do that. Like, we could just all do it, and we can't anymore. And just for me, where I come from, my family, they can't even bathe in it because there's so much uranium that deposits in the lakes. And it's so bad that they buy like cases upon cases, like Costco-sized bottles of water, because if they don't, like, and they have to bathe their kids in it, and they have to drink it, and meanwhile, like, we're all like, there's it polluting the landfills, like, we need reusable water bottles, but at the end of the day, like, if they don't do this, they're gonna get uranium poisoning and die of cancer at like 22, or their babies are gonna be born with cancer, you know? And like, and Christy Belcourt said it best, like, we're not just fighting for us as Indigenous people, like, we're fighting for all people, so that your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren, and, you know, if you don't want to procreate, that's totally cool, but like, the kids you see and their kids, so that they can have a future where they can just grab a cup, go to any stream or lake and drink it. You know, like, this is, like, for me, this is so fundamental, and I sit there and I look at these police officers and I'm like, is your freaking $40,000 a year job worth this? Like, really? Anyways, side rant. So we have Callie here from Indigenous Post Society. We also have like Dan and Sage and a couple other folks. We do have a table here of folks from Edmonton Two-Spirit. So what's gonna happen is we're gonna have a little break, but instead of asking these folks to come up, maybe I'll ask them to come later. I just really wanna encourage you to just like sort of meet other people, get to know other people, get to know what, you know, we're doing as Indigenous people within the community, because we're pretty awesome. Just, you know, we're so humble. We're so freaking humble. Yeah. So I've noticed at these poetry things that as soon as someone calls a break, everybody like vanishes. They're like, oh my God, yes, you know, go. Avengers assemble away from this event. So like, please don't do that, because like, you know, there's like 4 other really amazing poets coming up, or 3, I can't, you know, what's math? Anyways, there's other people besides me coming up. It would be really beautiful if y'all could support them. So 10 minutes, don't leave, I'll chase you down. No, I'm just kidding. All right, and make sure you know, say hi to the staff, get some food. I think there's still some chili, mingle, love you all.